Our students who participate in early college, when they do matriculate to that four-year university, they are well better prepared for the rigor.
Opportunities that we have for students, for example, the opportunities here today.
Hello and welcome to the Focus Show. I am your host, Carl Daniels Jr., and today I have with me the principal of General Stanford Elementary School here in Newport News, Mrs. Elizabeth Galbreath, where we'll be talking today about their school becoming a Purple Star School. Welcome, Ms. Galbreath, to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Thank you, thank you. So we're talking about your school being a Purple Star School. What does it mean for your school to be recognized as a Purple Star School?
Okay, so first I want to say it's such a great honor for General Stanford Elementary School to be recognized as a Purple Star School. So for some people that may not know what Purple Star School recognition means is that we're recognized for the next 3 years as a public school who services military students, and where we go above and beyond to make sure that we're connected with them, the community, and their families. So we provide activities, we provide instruction, and we provide support for our military families and the community.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. That's wonderful. What is the criteria for you all to become a Purple Star School? What was the criteria you had to follow?
So the Virginia Department of Education, better known as VDOE, has criteria that actually you can find on their website. Their criteria is something that we work in conjunction with the school division. There are things that the school division has to do, as well as schools that are up for Purple Star recognition. So some of the things that we have to make sure that we're doing is we have to make sure we have like certain activities that are designated for military connected families and students. We also have to make sure that on the division side that our website, that things are military friendly, and that families, whenever they come to Newport News Public Schools, feel that family and military connection.
Okay. So when you talk about the military, you talked about helping them.
Yes.
What are some of the ways specifically that your school helps military families?
So for those that may not know, General Stanford is quite unique to Newport News Public Schools. We are located on the installation of Fort Eustis. So that means that we service about 90% of our population are military students that have military family connections. So one of the things that we make sure that we do is that as they are transitioning in and out of our schools, we really want to make sure that we're providing that connection for them. As many people know, military families, they are very transient. They may stay somewhere maybe 3 to 4 years at best. And so we want to make sure that when they come to General Stanford, our mission and our goal is that General Stanford is one of the best elementary schools that they've been in. And so we provide programs and things of that nature to make sure that we fulfill that promise to them.
Okay. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be more here on the Focus Show, where we're talking about General Stanford being a Purple Star School with Miss Elizabeth Galbreath, the principal of General Stanford Elementary School. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Focus Show. I am Carl Daniels Jr. I am your host. And today my guest is Miss Elizabeth Galbreath, who is the principal at General Stanford Elementary School here in Newport News. So the next thing that I wanted to ask you was, when you mentioned Purple Star and you mentioned about VDOE, what would that mean to the average person that may or may not quite get the significance of being in Purple Star School?
Okay, so the Virginia Department of Education, of course, is, the department of the state that, runs all of the, schools within the state. So it's a huge recognition, because what that means is that, across the state, we are recognized as an exemplar school that, supports military families with the activities that we do. Some of the activities that we have at General Stanford, for example, we have a program called Anchored for Life. Anchored for Life is an exciting program that we implemented this year, where it's actually run by students. We have 2 advisors, my school counselor, Ms. Brown, and our PE teacher, actually, Mr. Green, are 2 advisors. And we have students from 4th and 5th grade who connect with military families that come in. So for example, if you have a student that's new to General Stanford, we have our Anchor for Life students that might give tours. They also may run student-led groups on different topics, such as, transitioning from different schools. So we really try to make sure that we have student leadership in the programs that we have support. So we're really excited about our Anchor for Life program, for example. So in order to apply for the Purple Star recognition, that's one of the programs that we highlighted in our application.
Okay. So as far as you and your staff, or even just you specifically, what pushes you to be an example to your students at your school?
Oh, wow. One of the things that I always tell my staff and anyone that asks me about being at General Stanford, I always say what an honor it is. The staff that's behind me, they work so hard, and that pushes me to work even harder, because I always say, it's not necessarily about me, but it's about the people that I'm with, right? So, my staff, a lot of my staff is military connected. So whether they have, direct connections in their immediate family, whether they were in the military at one time. So I think that makes us a very special group, where we have, training, we have experience, to where we know what it feels like, to be military connected. Actually, before I came to Virginia, I was born and raised in North Carolina, so I started my teaching career there. And before I moved to Virginia, I was teaching in the Fort Bragg area. So, some of my experience, like I said, with military families brought me, to this location. So I always say, it's just an honor to have such a hardworking staff, a staff that loves and cares about our kids so much. And I think that's what makes us really special.
Okay. So if somebody else was looking at, or other schools were looking at General Stanford, what would you want them to know about that school, where they may even say, maybe that's something I should consider doing to make my school successful towards, military families and even other families in general?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I always want to, be able to highlight General Stanford and all the great things that we're doing. One of the things that I can say is, if I have other schools that are interested in becoming Purple Star, or how to continue to support families, really look out for different resources. I know, being on the military installation, we have what's called our MFLAC, which is our Military Family and Life Counselor, who we have supporting. We also have our military liaison that helps us as well, keeps the connection between us and the families. So really look, if you have some military connected families in your school, really look at what resources you can bring in and help provide them. Do you have an opportunity to bring in maybe an MFLAC, or is there a military liaison that can help support? Also give training to your staff is something that I would say do, because like I said, the military population is a great one, but it is a unique one, right? It's their own culture. So you really need to know what community you're servicing, what needs do they have, so that way you can be educated on how to, better service those students and the family. So, like I said, basically, looking at resources, trainings, and what special programs you can bring into your school.
Okay. What would your school need to do to become a Purple Star school again?
Okay.
If this was something, yearly.
Absolutely. So, we expect to maintain our Purple Star recognition. As I stated earlier, it is for 3 years. So what that means is that we would have to go through the application once again. So after the 3 years is up, we will apply again with the Virginia Department of Department of Education, excuse me. And it's the same criteria, meaning that, we have to show, are we continuing the programs that we have? How are we connected with our military families? And also I love it because it's a partnership with us and Newport News Public Schools, right? So the division also has to be sure too that, we're still maintaining expectations of the division, meaning the website, military families are able to be connected at the higher level Newport News. So I love that whenever we apply for purple recognition, it's just not something that is General Stanford. It's something that also brings Newport News and us together. So we would just go through the application process again with the VDOE, and they would look at our application. They would bring it amongst a panel and vote on it, and hopefully we will be able to continue our recognition for another 3 years.
Oh, okay. So when you mentioned the 3 years, do they ever decide, like to update or to change the criteria in the process that you've gone through, becoming a Purple Star school, where you said the next 3 years the criteria is going to be the same? Is there ever a year where you apply for it and all of a sudden you notice some of the qualifications may have changed?
That may happen, but consistently the application process has been pretty standard. Like I said, it's transparent on the Virginia Department of Education. You look at Purple Star recognition, and the criteria has been consistent for the past couple of years. So definitely, if there is something on there that is added, we'll rise to that occasion and make sure we do that. But no, what we were asked to do in terms of applying for the application, the criteria will most likely still be the same in the next 3 years.
Okay. So what reward do you get by being the principal of General Stanford Elementary School?
Oh my goodness, what reward do I get? How much time do we got? I could sit here all day and talk about the reward of being, not only a principal, but a principal at General Stanford. Like I said, it's such a special place to be. And, one thing about being an administrator, you always think, what's the reason I'm here? Why have I been placed here? Because I don't take, this position that I have very lightly. And as I've been here over the past few years, I've realized, that I'm here to lead. I'm here to bring a community together. I'm also here to bring a spotlight to General Stanford. Because one thing about me is that I was sharing earlier, I actually was a teacher here in Newport News before I became an administrator. I was at Epps Elementary School. And I always say when I was at Epps, I never knew General Stanford existed. I'm almost ashamed to admit that. But becoming principal at General Stanford, I said, I want us to be in the spotlight, but in a good way, where we're noticing, what is it about General Stanford that makes them so great? And I want people to take away that we are military connected. We're about our community, and we're about, supporting, the mission of Newport News Public Schools, as well as our mission at General Stanford.
Okay. So, lastly, is there anything else that you would like the public to know about your school that we haven't mentioned here today?
Okay. One of the things that I think I would like to mention about General Stanford is it's just a great place to be. From just stepping onto the installation, whenever you walk into the school building, just the warmth, the love, the laughter that you hear. One of my favorite things to do in the morning is arrival, and you hear as soon as you kids get out, good morning, Miss G. From the beginning, we set the tone. And so I just want people to know that General Stanford is focused. We have a heart for children. We have a heart for education, and also a heart for our military families. And we're committed to doing, whatever that means and whatever that takes to make sure that General Stanford is the best elementary school that our military connected kids have been in.
Okay. And that's great that General Stanford is catering to the military families, because they're making a great sacrifice for us with their family members, mom, pops.
Yes.
Sometimes both parents, serving in the military. So that's great that you all can serve them well in a great capacity. So I would like to thank my guest, Ms. Galbreath, today for being here to talk about General Stanford being a Purple Star school. You can check out this show and more on our YouTube channel at NNPS Telecom. When you go there, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. I'm Carl Daniels Jr. I'm your host for The Focus Show. Seeing you next time on our next episode of The Focus Show. Take care.